Hello everyone and welcome back to Invincible Guarding the Globe. Today I'll be going over what I believe is the new best teams to use in the game and what the new meta involves. So yeah, if you do enjoy and this does help you, then please like and subscribe to the video and to my channel. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So a few things have changed, I think, since my last video covering the teams in this game. One of the most things I see requested from this game is just basically what heroes to actually use. So if you can see here, these are the heroes I currently have leveled up. My team is currently consisting of Universa, Omni-Man, Atom Eve, Alan, and basic Invincible or Doc Seismic. However, I don't believe this is the best team. The best teams are some of the other heroes that you can see here. So previously, and I'll just go into Cecil's Nightmare to sort of show you this. Previously, I did an update where I was covering a team that involved Universa, Atom Eve, Alan, and then I believe it was Doc Seismic and Invincible, as you can see here. Now, this is a very, very strong team. Potentially even swapping out Invincible for Red Rush. So this team is still very, very good. However, there has been some recent sort of meta changes that I've seen people using, and I just wanted to cover those today. So probably the main thing that I have noticed are the inclusions of Anissa and Agent Spider. So we have a look at those heroes here. Anissa, we knew definitely was a very good and very strong hero. However, I think, especially since people have had more chances to obtain her and upgrade her, she is definitely now becoming a sort of must for most teams. Mainly due to her passive, which is here, reduces the defense of human enemies by, and if this is at max level, 15% of her attack stat. Now, what does this mean? This means that any human enemies, and what do I mean by that? I mean the tag here, so any of these heroes that are on the enemy team get a defense reduction, and as you can see, most of the heroes here are very, very popular and very, very strong heroes in the game. So having her on your team with this passive basically just annihilates any of these, especially the Immortal, who especially since Conquest has seen less and less use, but base level Invincible, Doc Seismic, Atom Eve, Red Rush, Agent Spider are all commonly used, and so this passive works extremely well against them. So I think that Anissa definitely has a very top spot in most of the new teams. Now, to get Anissa to properly work, if we see here, when enemy is pushed by an ally, Anissa dashes towards them, flying through any enemies in the way, and at max level dealing 225% damage, bleeding effect over 5 seconds, and a reduction in healing to the enemy. And this can be reduced down to a cooldown of 5 seconds. This is her main strength. Her main ability is very good, takes enemies out of the fight, but this is definitely her main strength. This ability here, and it's extremely powerful, but basically with the Anissa, if you do use her on your team, you want to be triggering this as often as possible. So basically the enemies are needing to be pushed by one of your allies to complete this. Now, how does this work? What enemies are good to, what heroes are good to use in the team with Anissa? I would definitely say the main one, and this is why I mentioned him earlier, is Agent Spider. These two work so well together because Agent Spider does a lot of stuns, but he also does a lot of pushes. For example, his main ability, as we can see here, this ability is ready to use at the start of the battle, as well as being on a cooldown of 22 seconds, and if you level it up, it comes down to a cooldown of 21, so not the biggest difference. But the main thing is it's ready to use at the start of the battle. What this does is it pulls an enemy towards him, stuns them, and he deals damage to them, but he also slightly pushes the enemy, and this triggers Anissa's third ability, where she will then dash through them. So not only is Agent Spider, I almost called him Spider-Man, not only is Agent Spider dealing damage and stunning the enemy, but this at the start of the battle is guaranteed to trigger your Anissa charge through, and if she hits any enemies on the way, it's even better. But this will basically immediately burst down an enemy and deal massive amounts of damage, not only from Agent Spider, but also then with Anissa. So this works very, very well with her. Also, let me see here. Is it his fourth ability? Every 8 basic attacks, he throws a web, dealing damage. But it also, we see at the end here, additionally, he pushes and stuns the enemy for 0.5 seconds. The stun is very quick. But because he's pushing the enemy, if you upgrade this to level 10, then every 7 basic attacks, he'll push an enemy, and again, this will trigger Anissa's fly through ability. So if you upgrade to the maximum his first and fourth ability, then he becomes extremely useful to use with Universa. I'm just seeing here, yeah, no, that one doesn't do any push ability. So Agent Spider and Anissa definitely are basically needing to work together. Even if you aren't using Anissa, Agent Spider is also very good just because he does so many stuns and is basically a great disruptor attacker for your team. He doesn't do the most amount of damage, but he definitely helps stun the enemy. Another one that is very good to use with Anissa is Conquest. The reason for this is his fourth ability here. If an enemy applies a debuff on him, he dashes towards them and headbutts them away, which then, as you can see here, pushes them far away, passing them the debuff. But this push also triggers Anissa's ability. So if you have ideally Agent Spider and Conquest there and Anissa, the three of them together work extremely well. So that is 3 heroes out of the possible 5 that can be used. So who would be the other 2? My recommendation, as you can see here, probably straight away, at least one of them being Universa. Universa is definitely by far the best hero in the game. She does so much damage. Basically, you just want her in your backline to be untouched by the enemy and just melt them, have as high-powered Universa as physically possible. So I think whatever team you go with, unless maybe it's like a Mauler team or something, Universa is needed for any team regardless. So I think Universa, and then the other spot, it's really up to you. A few options would potentially even be Doc Seismic if you do want some more damage and more stuns. Also Doc Seismic, if you put him in the front line, when an enemy flies towards him, he stuns them and flies away to a different spot, but also he pushes them. So again, this works extremely well with Anissa. This doesn't have the best team chemistry, but it does help again give Anissa if you do Doc Seismic, you basically want your Anissa to be as high powered as possible. Same with your Universa, but you basically want this team, if you're going with this team, to have the strongest Anissa possible just to maximize her damage. So Doc Seismic is a good option. Alternatively, you could go with Atom Eve again, or just to go back quickly as well to Universa, herself being a leader gives Conquest his passive of dealing more damage, so you definitely want her on your team with Conquest. Having Atom Eve here again gives us better chemistry, and also obviously she is incredibly good at protecting the team with her shields and healing them, so this would give you a healer for the team and a protection. I would probably go with Atom Eve here because your team doesn't have really any healing otherwise, so this just helps keep them all alive. This is better to keep them alive longer for the fight. Alternatively, you could use basic Invincible because again, he is extremely powerful. His main ability, does it push the enemies? That is a good question, actually. Dealing his damage, no, I don't believe he pushes them with the ability, so I don't think it counts for Anissa. But base level, Invincible is extremely good, so he would be good here. It would remove the healing. Another alternative is Red Rush, as he is very good at stunning the enemy. He doesn't do any pushes, however, his passive, which increases critical damage, greatly increases Universa's damage. He doesn't really have any healing. He has a ability where when one of your allies becomes low on health, then he basically gives them invulnerability, so he does help keep them alive in that way, but doesn't actually heal anyone. So he would be good for that. He also is very good at displacing enemies, same with Agent Spider, so it can kind of really throw off enemy team comps. So that is probably what I would say are the best teams right now. I think Anissa is the newest member to the team. I think she is definitely worth investing in. If you don't have her invested, then Alan as well is extremely powerful if you don't need or don't have Conquest higher up. Atomeve as well, and even this team, obviously, that I mentioned before, is very good. Now, I'll do a few showcases. Obviously, it's difficult because some of my heroes, like my Universa, are extremely high level. So, for example, this is the sneak attacks. What do you call it? Cecil's Nightmare. So some of them are a bit lower level than others. But what we'll do is we'll do this one. If it's some of them die, then we'll maybe do a lower level. But this is the final level. But just to sort of showcase what happens in the fight, I will go with this setup here, because obviously this is what I think I would be using if I had all these characters available at the maximum, or the highest level that I have right now. So what we'll do is we'll want to watch Agent Spider, because he'll pull someone towards him, the War Woman just here, and Anissa will fly straight through him and deal a massive amount of damage. Now, as long as my Agent Spider and Conquest can survive for a bit, we should hopefully see Anissa dashing all over the place and killing a lot of them here. Let's see here. As you can see, we are killing them extremely quick. Conquest is doing his cool ability there. Universe obviously dashes. Anissa dashes through them, and we do win the battle. Now that was actually a new record, which is probably saying something, as I was previously using my other team with, for example, a level 1000 Omni-Man, 980 Alan, which definitely helps survive maybe longer, but in this case we need more damage, and the fact that we managed to do a faster time with lower level characters show just how good these lower level characters work with each other. Let me just see if there's maybe... what I'll do is I'll go into the arena, into the current restricted arena, which is attacking heroes, because again here Anissa is very strong. Now we don't have the other options that I was talking about in terms of Conquest or the supports. However, we can see how well they work together. So let's see what's a good one to use here. So with the attackers, obviously we do have a bit of a limitation, but I just want to show you some things that you can do with Doc Seismic and Anissa, because Doc Seismic, as I mentioned before, when an enemy gets close to him, he stuns them and pushes them and then flies away, and this triggers Anissa. So what you can do if you are using the heroes in this game mode, for example, is put Doc Seismic at the front, because Battle Beast will charge towards him and he will then trigger Anissa's fly-through ability. As we can see on the left, we do see that Agent Spider is going to pull one of our team members. We are a lot higher level power, so I'm not worried about it. So you can pull the Anissa, pull the Universa. The Anissa we want to leave free from stuns so that she can do the fly-through ability. Basically, I think the new meta is revolving around Anissa. As you can see, she just flew through and did a massive amount of damage there. So I think Anissa is the key to this, mostly for her passive, but also the third ability, where if you can get your team to push the enemy over and over again with a 5-second cooldown, she can basically just keep dashing through, hitting multiple members of the enemy team and dealing large amounts of damage. It is going to be interesting to see with a new update if the meta does change, because they have buffed a bunch of the other characters, for example Cecil and Shrinking Ray and Bulletproof, so we'll see what happens with that. But in terms of the teams, that is what I believe are the best sort of combinations to use just now. Not a big change from previously, but yeah, that's what I currently think. Comment down below what your teams are looking like and what you think. And yeah, hopefully this helped. If it did, please like the video and subscribe, and cheers, and see you in the next one.